Strength-based leadership theories and authentic leadership, presented by Team Strength and Authenticity. Team members include Anna Koperzak and Nicholas Riley. There are various definitions of strength by multiple authors. The definitions are all slightly different, but they all focus on knowing your strengths and using your strengths to your advantage and growth as a leader. So how do you know what your strengths are? Here we've identified several tools for identifying your strengths, and it's all about self-awareness, knowing oneself, and personal development. In this course, we use the Strengths Finder 2.0 by Rath with 177 questions, and it came back and gave us a very good breakdown of what our personalized insights are, what we like to do naturally best. There's something else called a predictive index, which is more of a behavioral assessment. And it is a little bit different type of test. You look at 2 lists of adjectives, and first round, you describe how you think people view you. The second round is how you view yourself. And then you get a printout basically that talks about your behavioral strengths. So as a combination of your skills and strengths using Strength Finder and your behavioral strengths, you have a really pretty strong picture of who you are and where your best strengths lie.
And like you said, it's more than just like a personality test, right? It actually gets into how people are growing in this
Yes.
leadership role.
Yes. It talks about, are you an extrovert or an introvert? Do you have patience? Are you impatient? Can you handle things that are maybe not formal and structured? Are you
Can you
more
handle
open?
stressful situations on the work site?
Yes. Or, you may run into situations where things are not formal and structured, but there may be a lot of leeway. How are you able to handle those things? So it's very similar because it identifies some of those natural strengths, and it does also give you some self-coaching tips, much like Strength Finder. Things to be aware of, things to work on.
Perfect.
And when you look at several of the different leadership theories, Drucker, Goldratt, and Covey all focus on a more prescriptive, task-focused mindset. And it's kind of like you do things in a certain order. You start out with time management, you figure out what you need to do and how long it's going to take, and then you focus on getting it done. You concentrate. You make certain decisions so that you don't have to make them again. These are all kind of personal skills, not necessarily related to a team, but how you might lead that team.
Basically, kind of like how we did with creating even just this PowerPoint, and we worked together, finding when we could work our time schedules, worked best together, what each of us was going to do. I know that we had to do that worksheet earlier last week.
Yes.
To where we figured out who's strengthful in what situation. We also looked at what concentration each of us was going to look at, you looking at strength, me looking at authenticity, and we made our decisions from there.
Yes, and then we worked on when we could meet, how we were going to pull this slide presentation together. Correct.
Absolutely.
Another strength-based leadership theory kind of brings in some of the emotional intelligence and personal skills. It talks about how you can manage and build relationships. Time management and executing and motivation are in there, but it's also including a lot of emotional intelligence, controlling your emotions and situations so that things don't get out of hand, speaking up when you need to speak up, and things like trying to maintain an even keel with your team. Another strength-based leadership theory focuses on the team alignment, how you align with your team. And this is where the predictive index comes into play. You don't want to align and fix everything. You want to look at what people's strengths are and assign based on their strengths. You want a team that's diverse, that has a lot of different talents. Like Nicholas may be strong in one area and I'm strong in another area. So we make a good team instead of both of us being strong in the same area. I don't want to look and fix everything that he's not strong at. I want to emphasize what his strengths are.
Right. And I think having a team to where I have a certain strength in this area, and you having it, and then colliding it together creates this. It does what a team is supposed to do. It brings everybody together. Everybody has their job, and they are the best at their job.
And what it does is it empowers people. They can make those better decisions. They can understand and have knowledge about what they're doing and where they need to go. So it really utilizes the human potential to its fullest.
So authentic leadership. Bill George actually was the founder of Authentic Leadership in a book that he published in 2003. Basically, it's stated that a leader should be familiar with both how they view themselves and how they see others, and how their actions affect those around them for the better or worse. Basically, it's saying that don't just be something that you're not, but be your true self. Don't try and be someone that you're not. And it also states that you need to have clear motives in every action. That's very important for authentic leadership. You don't want to be wishy-washy. You want to have strong communication skills. You want to be present for the people that are needed. You want to be there when they need you the most.
And I like the statement about how your actions affect others. If you're positive, then you're going to create that positive atmosphere for your team.
Absolutely. And a good example of that I can pull from, I am actually the captain of the men's bowling team here at Lourdes University. And my coach always preaches positive attitudes. And if you have a negative attitude, that's going to drastically affect how the team performs. If you're negative or downright disrespectful to somebody, they're in the back of their mind, it's always going to be there that, oh, this person doesn't have faith in me, this person this person that. To where if you are giving positive authentic self-talk, I should say, a better word for self-talk, I can't think of that right now, but giving that type of talk to your players or to your teammates or your coworkers, that allows you to get the best out of them. Authentic based theories, obviously this is all centered around authentic leadership. Having, like I said, positive work relationships, like Anna said earlier, diversity and inclusion, that's extremely important. You don't want to just have a certain group always doing a certain task. You want to diversify it. Ethics and fairness, always being true to who you are, being fair to people, giving everybody the same shot, the same opportunity. Crisis and change management. You're true to who you are when you're in these areas. If there's a crisis going on or something's changing, you're always going to be even keel. You're never going to be too high or too low. Great creativity and innovation, just showing that you're not going to do the same thing over and over again, but you are going to be there for those people and speak the truth, and then motivate. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Anna.
There's another aspect also, motivation and performance, is you want to recognize the wins. even
Yes.
as you
Yes.
go through the process. You recognize the small wins and then they become big wins, but do take the time because that helps motivate your people around you.
Absolutely, yes. Another example that I can pull from my personal experiences is just this past tournament, we had a player who kept missing the same spare. It was just a single pin, he kept missing it, and giving positive talk to him, to that person, motivating him, being like, hey, you can do this, you can get this, you're going to get the next one, don't worry about it, we got your back as a team. His performance actually increased. He actually started making the spare, and he started actually bowling way better than what he had been. Some more theories of this: a sense of purpose, distinct values, relationship building, goals and self-discipline, genuine heart, and building trust. Basically, what I've been saying is just making sure that your teammates or your coworkers or your players have that sense of purpose. Like, hey, the team needs me. They need me to do this. Relaying that information that, hey, you are going to be fine. You're going to get through this. Relationship building. Basically, like I said, just being there for your teammates when they need you the most. Having a genuine heart and building trust, not lying, not talking behind someone's back, just being there for them and being present in the moment with them. And then some ways to develop your authenticity: explore personal stories like I've shared some just here in this presentation. Reflect on times needing authentic leadership. I know there are times in my career that I've needed someone who is like honest with me, truthfully honest, brutally honest to a fault. But I needed that in my life, because rather than having them sugarcoat it and saying, oh, it's okay. No, it's not okay. Sometimes it's not okay to mess up. Just being truthful and being honest with somebody. Don't be afraid of feedback, and don't be afraid of failure. You're gonna fail. You're gonna fail. It's inevitable. You're not gonna always be successful. I mean, I go back to what I know, the sport of bowling. A perfect score is 300. You're not going to be perfect every time. You're lucky if you're perfect one time. Don't be afraid of feedback. Ann and I actually were talking before we actually started the presentation, and I asked her for feedback on what I had put into the PowerPoint. And I wanted that because I don't want to fail her as a teammate. I want to make sure that we are doing what we need to be doing to get this correct, get this done correctly. And something that I loved about what I was reading is a quote I actually took out of it was, don't fake it till you make it. I love that quote because I've always been a type of person that says, fake it till you make it, get there, just get through it, you'll get through it, everything's fine. But actually learning about authentic leadership and sitting through this class and learning about this type of stuff, it's really not a good thing, not a good characteristic to have, faking it until you make it.
One thing about not being afraid of feedback and such and failure is a lot of times that's where you're going to learn the most. I have failed so many times in so many different projects throughout my career, but I can tell you that I've learned the most from those and been able to pick up and move forward and not make those same mistakes again. It really helps with your personal growth, dealing with people, dealing with situations. You may have a big fail, but you know what? If you can pick yourself back up, look at yourself authentically and say, okay, I messed up. I learned from that. Let's move forward. It's a much healthier way of approaching whatever situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then here are our references. Thank you guys for
Thank
your
you.
time. I appreciate you guys. We appreciate you watching our presentation, and we hope that you guys learned something from us.
Thank you very much.